So I was going to this church in Costa Mesa, and the pastor, Don, said something very interesting. So he had a newborn daughter, and he just loves her, right? And God says to him, God says, you know how much you love your daughter right now? That's one grain of sand in the beach for how much I love you. And that really hits me when God says something like that pure. It really takes me back the same way good poetry or good storytelling does. And it really makes me feel like I'm in the right place with Christianity. Now, I know a lot of people hate Christianity, and you hate it for good reasons, right? It's telling you how to live your life. It's telling you how to do what you're told according to other people. And you haven't signed up for any of that, and people are still telling you what to believe and how to behave. And I want to apologize for that. Something that was really big with me when I was growing up and being told I can't play video games, I can't watch movies with magic in it, even though it's pretend magic and it's pretend violence in video games, is, I started researching the Bible and learning the Bible and reading the Bible so that way I could argue with my mom about what the Bible actually said. And through my 40 years journey, I've learned that God will answer all of your questions. So for example, one time I was playing Dungeons and Dragons and I felt bad, like maybe this is satanic, maybe God doesn't want this. And so I told God, like, give me 3 answers, 3 different answers so I know this is okay, because I don't want to offend you. I don't want to do something that is unrighteous. So I said this prayer, and then I was talking to my friend who's Jewish, and he has that deep philosopher, intellectual brain. And he said, well, we are pretending. Does the Bible say anything about pretending? And I said, yeah. There was a time when people wanted to eat meat that was offered to idols, because they would sell that really good meat in the for cheap. You could get really good meat for cheap, but it was offered to idols. And Paul, who was one of the people trained by Jesus, or actually one of the people selected to represent Jesus in the highest order, he said, it's okay because you know that idols aren't real. They're not real gods. But if you're ever around someone who's like a baby Christian, right? Like they're brand new to Christianity and they're really weak with temptation to worship idols, then you really shouldn't. So let me put it another way. I can drink socially, right? But if I was around somebody who used to be an alcoholic and now they've been Christian for a little while and they're trying not to drink anymore, then I shouldn't be drinking around them. We would kind of have that responsibility to watch out for each other. So in this manner, this is my point. And I apologize that maybe I'm not as good at making my points as I'd like. If God wants you to do something, he'll tell you. Because in Christianity, when you become a Christian, there's a lot of things that's going to be important for you to learn. 1, don't put yourself down. That's a form of pride. Being arrogant and overboasting yourself, that's pride. But you can also be arrogant and call yourself ugly. Did God say you're ugly? Because God doesn't think you're ugly. Are you putting yourself down internally and calling yourself worthless? God's not doing that. Why are you doing that? That's also pride. There's going to be a lot of things you learn, a lot of skills, a lot of spiritual skills. So don't be afraid to ask God what he thinks. So for example, if you're a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, you can tell God, hey, I don't want to change. This is part of my identity. This is part of who I am. But if there is a good reason to change, I will listen to you. And you should listen, because God might have a reason that completely stuns you. So for example, I've always wanted to start businesses. So I always kind of ignored what God wanted to do. Not in a big way, but I like to finish thinking and making my plans before I let God alter them. I've had a lot of people in my life that always bossed me around and told me what to do, and I was very obedient. And so now, if I have a plan, I like to think about it, figure it out. What do I want to do? Where do I want to take it? And then I ask God, what do you think? If I do it any other way, I feel like I'm molesting my spiritual self. So after a while, I'd kind of run my course, and I go, okay, God, I'm gonna submit. What are your plans? Because I don't feel like mine are working, and I feel like maybe you're fighting mine. He said, I'm gonna make you like Scrooge McDuck. You're gonna have 3 cubic acres of money, and you're gonna make a lot of businesses and go on lots of adventures and be awesome. And that just floored me. Because Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales is one of my favorite characters of all time. Because he's just a great guy, and he has to learn. He always succumbs to his greed, then remembers that family is more important, and he has to do the right thing. And one of the reasons I didn't go to pastor school is because I got tired of the church needing money, and I wanted to start lots of businesses to help people get money and also have help the church have money. So don't be afraid to ask God his opinion. You can always disagree with him. It's very important. Throughout the whole Bible, people disagreed with God. And it worked out because God will alter the plans to something you and him both like, or he'll help you understand what his plans are. But he's a very gentle father. Here's a really good example. I asked God to critique me one day. I was like, God, critique me. And I've had a lot of people kind of abuse me with Christianity, and that's not me saying Christianity is abusive, even though it can be. I always go to the parts of Christianity where it's like has the most blockheaded, stubborn people, because that's where I want to work. A doctor doesn't go around healthy people, a doctor goes around unhealthy people because they can do the most good. So I asked God, what's one critique? And now I'm bracing myself because I'm used to really being beaten with Christianity. He said, you could watch less YouTube. And I was stunned. I was like, that's it? I like all these people always beating me over the head with what you want, this or that, in all these horrific ways that I've had to suffer and overcome and learn and grow. And I go to you to get some deep-rooted criticism, and you give me something that is gentle, accurate, and profound. I thought God was like this mean, awful, I'm going to hit you until you turn into what I want. But and the best part is it made so much sense, which is something I also love. This is important because a lot of you don't know what it is to not feel worry, and a lot of you don't know what it is not to feel anxiety, and a lot of you don't know what it is to not feel panic or hopelessness. The birth of Christianity is just saying, Jesus, I believe in you. That's all that's required for salvation. Just, Jesus, I believe in you. And what we're saying is we believe that he is the Son of God. We believe that he didn't sin, and we believe that he let himself be crucified in order to heal the wound we created between us and heaven. Because when our ancestors ate from the fruit of the tree of good and evil in Eden, it broke reality. Jesus died to mend reality. So we say, I believe in you, Jesus, and then we get possessed by the Holy Spirit, which gives us power, self-control, and peace of mind. So basically fuels you with this power source of heaven, of creation, of the power of God. It puts that inside of you. And that allows you to accomplish great things. Believe in Jesus. You don't even have to obey him. Obeying him is important. I'm not saying being disobedient is allowed to those people who are Christian. To the people who kind of don't know Christianity, don't know Jesus, don't want to have anything to do with Christianity at all, even the atheists and the agnostics, I want to say this. You need to believe in Jesus just so you can have the power of heaven. And then you can still be disagreeable, disgruntled, and angry. You can still process the truth of what is Christianity. And even so, that is needed more. You can say, hey, God, I don't believe in you, but let's talk. God, I hate you, but let's talk. God, you are worthless to me, but let's talk. There's so many people with these poisons in their heart, and we're taught by society to kind of just trudge on past it. But I'm not that guy. I like moving towards perfection so we can have the easiest time while accomplishing the greatest feats of might. And so one of the first things you should ask once you get comfortable in talking to God is, what can I do to accomplish my dreams? Because every person has gifts, strengths, and dreams that they want to accomplish. And I really want you to reach for those. Whether it's art or starting a $1 billion enterprise or flying faster than the speed of sound. Don't be afraid to be happy. And having God possess you is meaningful and matters. And let me tell you, if no one's ever told you that you matter, if no one's ever told you you're special, if no one's ever told you that there are meaningful accomplishments for you to accomplish in this life, then I'm telling you that now. Believe in Jesus so you can at least be a part of what is happening and what I'm telling you is happening and what you're going to see around you. If you're failing because of money, I'll tell you what I've told people, and I've never seen this fail, is tithe. The first 10% you make before taxes, give to a Christian church. It won't work with Jehovah's Witness, and it won't work with Mormon. I've confirmed it won't work with Mormon, and I believe foundly it won't work with Jehovah's Witness. A Christian or Catholic church, if you don't believe in church, I've had friends who give it to homeless. Don't give it to your buddy next door. That doesn't count. I've had friends do that. My friend said, oh, why shouldn't it count? It's like, well, because God's telling you to give it to a church. And you think because you're doing something good, you're being obedient. First 10%. I have friends who aren't Christian who do this, and they haven't had a bad financial day since. I'm not telling you because I want your money. I'm not here for the money. I'm here because I want to have the biggest house in heaven I possibly can. So I'm not entirely selfless, because I'm not going to live forever. So if I can't take my money with me, I will convert my finances so that way they get to come with me to heaven. And if God appreciates my hard work, then I will work hard. I love you guys, and I wish you the best. Don't falter, no matter how much life sucks. Keep praying for the future you want.